So this is just the general thesis. We're facing increasing pressure to deliver business value. And I've felt this without question over my career. In worst case scenario, the business looks at development teams or developers or IT in general as incompetent. They're unable to perform their job. They're not giving me what I need. Maybe a little bit better situation is not viewing IT as incompetent, but that there's a lot of friction that exists between IT and the business people. And I've been in both situations. And then I've also been fortunate enough to have been in situations where there's not really a business team and there's not really the development team, but there's a team. And if you've ever experienced that, it's kind of it's a breath of fresh air. Who here is just really hell-bent on still doing waterfall development? Anyone? Okay. And that's okay, I guess. We can talk about that. We tend to think about iterations and how we're going to time box things and what's the length of an iteration going to be. Is our iteration going to be 2 weeks or is it going to be 6 weeks? And those tend to be the types of discussions I've seen surrounding the software process, adoption of these methods, which in my opinion is somewhat unfortunate. Because I feel a more valuable discussion is how are we going to, what practices are we going to employ to ensure we've always got a functional system from day one so that we can take that system and make it available for testing at any given point in time. A software project should be run similar to the following. He said, I am going to tell you what I need, but I'm not going to tell you what I need it. Or I'm not going to tell you when I need it. Instead, I'm going to expect that you have the ability within 1 week of me saying I need something that you can deliver it. Instead, he was basically advocating that we need to focus on quality throughout, whereas a lot of processes tend to focus on quality at the end. We're going to think big, take small steps, kind of the foundation behind the approach. Talk a little bit about risks, the benefits of agile methods, and then we're going to get into the essential SDLC infrastructure. And I'm hoping somewhere in here we'll do the demo that really shows all of these different aspects. Why do we want to build just on Thursday and have a full week's worth of a mess that we got to clean up? Because the build never worked. I mean, it never worked. It always failed every Thursday. And then we had a full week's worth of a mess to clean up. So we thought, well, why don't we build every night? Because if we build every night and the build fails, well, at least then all we've got is just 1 day's worth of mess to clean up. We thought, well, we're never going to be getting anything done. All we're ever going to do is be fixing a broken build, but we're never going to get anything done. In effect, the exact opposite happened because we became so conscientious of making sure that the build never broke that we'd only have maybe 1 broken build every couple of weeks. And so we didn't spend any time focusing on fixing the build. Instead, it turned into a situation where what we focused on was adding functionality to a system that already worked. What we've known forever that requirements, elicitation, and management is incredibly difficult. It's the bane of software development, the fact that requirements change, right? I mean, anybody ever had a requirements change on them? It's just constant, it seems. Even if we try to get the users to sign off on requirements, when they see the system, they realize that, yeah, it's what I asked for, but it's not really what I need. And that's just the reality of it. Unfortunately, traditionally, what we've done to try to solve that problem is we've said, if 3 months isn't enough time to gather and stabilize requirements, then I'm going to spend 6 months to gather. The prime directive of continuous integration is that I always have a functional system. The golden rule, if the system is ever in a non-functional state, it becomes the immediate priority of the development team to put it back into a functional state. It does no good to add new code to a system that doesn't work. Now, I'm not saying that all 50 people got to stop developing. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that before anybody checks code into the version control repository, we have to have a successful build. Can't tell you how many times I've been on a team where the project manager and technical leads and architects, whomever, meet with the project steering committee. Yeah, we're on target. Everything's going fine. We're going to hit our target date, and they haven't even written a lick of code. Haven't tested anything. They're still in requirements. Well, yeah, it's easy to say you're on target when all you're doing is documenting requirements. That's easy to do. I've been in the same situation where, yeah, we're on target. We're doing fine. The developers are pumping out code, but we haven't. The team hasn't tested anything. How do you really know if you're as far as what you think you are? Meanwhile, the developers are like, whew, the system's a mess. Nothing works. Local environments are broken. They can't run the system locally. Information is never older than the last successful build. No problem is ever older than the last successful build. I have a real problem with ALM, and the problem that I have with ALM is that they always promise traceability.